pie is done. The pie is done. But the people sat beside me, my only son, listen closely to what I say. If you do this, it'll help you some sunny day on a sunny planet with free energy everywhere. Oh, Lord have mercy. Do we gotta talk today? Simple man. I'm a simple man. I like to keep it simple. Take your time. Don't live too fast. Don't run your mouth. It'll make you a jackass. Now let me stop. Good morning, everybody. Oh, we need to talk about free. Always a couple things we got to talk about today. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna try to make this one quick. That's probably not gonna happen, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best shot. Where are my animations at? They're right there. All right, Julius Caesar. A couple things I need to talk about today. A couple things. We need to talk about free will, free energy, and patron patriotisms, and rendering unto Caesar what is Caesar, and unto God what is God's. What is Caesar's? I'm curious. What is Caesar's? Oh, and the other thing, did y'all know? No, I didn't know. I'm just not know, because I like to ask. I had a whole bunch of questions this morning. I was all over the thread. I got questions. Let me ask y'all a question. In this 7 days of creation, which day did God make viruses? Which day did the good God make bad viruses? Somebody tell me which day, because I'm curious which day that would have been. Good morning, everybody. Is today Friday? It's a perfect day to talk about free energy. Oh, well, I was on the thread this morning with the 98% monkeys debating whether or not free energy exists. And I'm just like, oh my Lord. I had to figure out how to sum this up. Because maybe, do I talk too much? Do I analyze and talk too much? Maybe I need to slow it down. We were going back and forth with the monkeys this morning. I'm not even going to say, I see one of them right there, 98%. I love that brother to death, but boy, was we getting into it this morning. Free, people, all energy is free. I don't know if y'all know this. It boggles my mind. It boggles my mind. They listen. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and render unto God what is God's. Somebody tell me what belonged to Caesar. What belonged to Caesar? Nothing. Hold on, let me put in let me bring in YouTube. Woo, I'm just a simple kind of man. I don't believe in complexities. I think things are a lot simpler than what we ever think. A lot simpler. I think they make it complex because Caesar got a mission. Caesar got a plan, and if you make it complicated, you're going to have problems. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, render unto God what is God. Somebody tell me, what does Caesar own? What does Caesar make? Don't make me bring up the UFOs. I bring up the UFO pictures. I have no idea why people want to debate with me whether or not I believe in aliens. I'm just like, come on, man. Have we done this? We've done this. But maybe some people aren't where I would say where we are. Is it we, or is it just me? Am I talking to myself? Let me fix the sound right here. Free will, free energy, and patriotism, rendering to Caesar. My biggest problem is when I read those scriptures, I took them seriously. That's the only problem Caesar has with me. The Caesars, the patriots, the patron patriots, patriotizing corporations pretending to be governments. Rothschilds and Rockefellers, crafty creations of man, blind patriotizing for-profit organizations. Everybody got a problem with me. My problem is when I read those scriptures as a kid, I believed it. I was 14, like I said, and I said, you know what? I'm reading the scriptures and it's making a lot of sense. Everybody need to be free. Garden of Eden, leave everybody alone. Let everybody have free will. And let's go this way. And I dedicated my life, and now I can't believe in your control systems. I can't. I'm not saying Christianity is the thing. I'm just saying scripture is real. That's all I'm saying. Scripture is real. All energy is free. Don't tell me that you can have free will within a banking system. Don't tell me that you're going to have free will underneath a control system of man. Don't tell me that you believe in free will for other people in these Bibles and scriptures and things that you read while you believe in using legislation and power and profit to control people. All right? Woo, whole lot of things we got to talk about this morning. I love the monkeys, though. I love the monkeys. It's always a great discussion. Ooh, all right. Ooh, we already got a discussion going. Hang on. Let me bring up the comments here. And then we're going to get into it. Get into it. All energy is free. All energy is free. All energy is free. But I'm going to say it in a different way to hopefully make it make some more sense to people who don't believe in free energy. All energy is free to you on your plane. Okay? It's free to you on your plane. We happen to be on a plane called a planet. A big rock of dust and minerals. 120 of them is probably 2,000, but we only know about 120. All right? And everything comes from here from a big plasma ball called the sun, assuming that's what it is. All that's just raining down. Now, mind you, we are collecting it. We've been eating it our whole lives. It's always free. It's free. It's free to the basil. It's free to the tomatoes. It's free to the lettuce. It's free to the plants and the trees. It's free to everything that we eat. It's free. Somebody paying for it though. Somebody on the sun, like, where the hell is all my plasma going? Hey, y'all gonna pay for that? And we ain't never paid for it. We ain't never paid for it. All energy is free, perfect within the design. All right, that's that first free energy. So all energy is free. Oh, you know what? Here's an example. Is a stream. A stream is free energy to bacteria. Does the bacteria pay for the stream? Or does the bacteria just to get to go where it wants to go? Does it get in the stream and it goes somewhere? Now something is paying for that. Something is paying for that. But gravity make that water move into that bacteria is just floating like, oh, free energy floating down the river. Free energy. So the bacteria is free, but somebody paying for it. Somebody downstream is pumping water up to the top. Downstream, if it's a fake pond, if it's a natural pond, evaporation, moisture, steam, goes up in the cloud and comes back down. And that bacteria gets more free energy. All energy is free. Right, now I'm going to take it to the next one. Although I think it was Brother Paul, and I think he's referring to, let me change the music. I think he's referring to 0 point energy. So 0 point energy, is it real? Does it exist? Because all the other energy is free, from the wind to the sun, to the stream, to bacteria. How come I can't pull up my comments? What's going on here? What is this fake news? What's going on with my phone? I didn't reset my phone. I know Sprint tells you that you're supposed to reset your phone on a regular basis. You know, who's that? Samsung? These little devices that don't like to work right. I can't even pull up my own video. Hang on. We're going to get there in a minute. Let y'all go ahead and answer the question. So what day did good God create bad viruses? Why do you think that free energy ain't free? And everything you had since you've been here has been free. They ain't paid for nothing. But free energy doesn't exist. There you go. You get on a canoe. You start going down the hill. Ooh, my comments work. Yay! Good morning, Christine. Who is this? Trisha in the house. Melissa. Paul Bradley. All right. According to the Drake equation, the likelihood of aliens existing is so minute, almost doesn't register. Thank you, Paul Bradley. I'm not interested in if aliens exist, though. I'll be honest with you. I love you to death, brother. I do. I live in a forest. I live in an ecosystem, and everywhere I look, there's life where there's water. We've decided there's water on every single planet. And there are multiple planets with liquid water and gravity and free energy coming from a plasma ball. If aliens exist, is not a discussion to me. I'm not really interested in what people think. It is a mathematical impossibility that there's not life everywhere and intelligent life everywhere. It's a mathematical impossibility, but that's not important to me. When I look at the UFOs and the aliens and I don't know if they're aliens. Personally, I kind of think it's Space Force. That's my personal belief, but I don't know that to be true. So I don't tell the alien people's not aliens, and I don't tell the Space Force people either way. Because what do I know? I'm a monkey trapped here in a false reality that gravity exists and we don't have free energy. I'm a slave to the planet. So my first interest is the root cause. Let's fix the problem. If you're seeing UFOs, they've been seeing these things for 5,000 years. The smartest people of every day who Einstein and Tesla. So you go to Einstein, and what did Einstein say? Oh, no, I got the quote. Hang on, I got the quote. Einstein built 25% of the world we got, and Tesla built the other 75%. So what are the smartest people on the planet that's way smarter than me? I'm not even on the scale. I don't even register. What did Einstein? Let's go to Einstein and ask him. Einstein said, Einstein once asked if how it felt to be the smartest man alive, and Einstein replied, I don't know, you gotta ask Nikola Tesla. Okay, Einstein, so he didn't gave up his 25%. He said, okay, well, you know what, I made 25% in science, mathematics, physics, psychology, and all the other things he dwelled in. Engineering, not psychology. And he said, let's ask Nikola Tesla. So let's go to the smartest man that's ever probably existed on this planet, who created our whole world, from airplanes to motors to cars to washing machines to television. Everything got Tesla technology. I'm talking to you on Tesla technology. Cell phones and Wi-Fi, all of this came from this man. And what did this man say to answer his question about free energy? He said all peoples everywhere should have free energy sources. Electric power is everywhere, present in unlimited quantities, and can drive the world's machinery without the need for coal, oil, or gas. If you're a climate changer, you should be paying attention to that part right there. But be careful, because if you're a climate changer, just make sure before you tell me about CO2, I need to see your garden. We're not gonna talk about CO2 till I see your garden. If you're really passionate about it and you want me to change my lifestyle to fit what you're saying is the problem on the planet that causes climate change, fossil fuels, and CO2, you need to understand what soil is. And you need to not go to the government that's paid to kill the bacteria in the soil that creates the carbon collecting aggregates in the soil. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Don't tell me to change my life unless you got a massive garden. You got a massive garden that collects a lot of carbon and creates big plants and trees that collect even more carbon, and you're fighting the climate change from CO2 and the fossil fuels. All right, we good to go. Short of that, you know, be the change. Be the change. But if Tesla said you got free energy everywhere, then I think that makes sense. My last little statement on free energy is simply going to be this. 0-point energy. That's what people like to debate, whether or not 0-point energy exists. Outside of the TR3B patent, you can go out on Google right now, do a search for Google patents. You'll see the TR3B, which is based on electromagnetic gravitic technology that the couple hundred engineers told you existed, that they finally released to you 10 years ago in the patent. And now you see that craft flying around on television. It's flying the same way Bob Lazar told you, from the belly forward. Told you about element 115 30 years ago, and now it hit the periodic table, was it 10 years ago? Right? So we are slaves to ignorance. We're not slaves to gravity. We're not slaves. We're slaves to ignorance. We're being kept on fossil fuels. We're being kept on controllable resources, limited resources, because that's how you enslave a species, right? Everybody wants their will to reign. Everybody, right? God told you had free will. We could have went along with that. We decided that's not a good idea. We wanted to be patriots to corporations, to Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and banks, okay? So we believe their narrative. And so because we believe their narrative, we are controlled by them. We are not within God's will. We are within Rothschild will, within Rockefeller will. We got patriots who want us to be within the United States corporation will, because they feel they're owned, because they were born in between some borders, owned by some billionaires. And I'm just like, that's not patriotism. That's patron patriotism, because you're patroning a corporation. Okay? Me, in terms of patriotism, like, I'm a patriot to freedom. I'm a patriot to freedom and liberty, right? And in whatever corporation or whatever government, we use that word, is actually honoring free will, is actually honoring liberty, is actually standing behind that. I could probably be a patriot to that. I could. But show me a government that stands behind liberty. Show me a government that stands behind freedom. Show me a government that stands behind any of those things. Free will. Because that's what that means. It's free will. You are either within the Caesar's will, or you're within God or natural law and nature's will. To me, it's all the same thing. Science and God is the same thing. Don't ask me what God is. I have no idea. At this current form in time, I am a wave spiritual creature energy thing inside of a 98% monkey. Okay, very few things that I know, but I got eyes. I can look around. I can reason. Right? What is 0 point energy? Well, 0 point energy, the bacteria is the stream. Why? Because that energy comes free and it rolls downhill. It gets in that water and it's like, whoa, free energy. I'm going downhill. But somebody's paying for that. We are within an ecosystem within ecosystems. Now, some of the smartest people of our time that are alive now talk about string theory. Michio Kaku is one of them. So what happens between ecosystems, right? What happens between dimensions? Dimensions are merely ecosystems, and they say there are about 11 to 12 of them. Does anything get exchanged between the ecosystems? Well, bacteria, it interfaces on a 2D ecosystem with 3D ecosystems, the stream, okay? To that bacteria, the stream is 0 point energy. It's free and it just comes out of nowhere. Okay, there are multiple dimensions, 0 point energy, which Einstein talked about, Tesla talked about, the smartest people of our day now are talking about, is based in the string theory that energy leaks here from other places. That's how we're an ecosystem. We're an ecosystem with the viruses and the bacteria, the beneficial insects, the bad ones, the flora, the fauna. It all works together. It all feeds together, even though we're all operating in different planes. Dimensions are the same thing. They all work together. They all feed things back and forth. You got black holes, you got white holes. Don't ask me because I don't even understand it. I'm not even trying to understand it. All I want to simply say is when you're pulling energy from another dimension, another plane that you can't see, you can't understand, you're bacteria and you don't know what the hell a shoe is, but you just feel like you're flat. And it steps on you. Something's paying for that energy. Something's paying for it, but it's not you. As above, so below. There are multiple dimensions and all different types of planes. Anyway, that's my statement there. I just believe in trusting the smartest people at a time and the smartest people before my time and the people before that time. All right. Ooh, cars can run on salt water. Yes, they can, Jack Hall. But see, the problem with Jack Hall is he actually reads books. He uses his brain. He understands that all the energies that create, all the engineers that created free energy, all these devices, they were classified. He understands what the Invention Security Act is. He understands why that's in existence. Do we need to go look at the Invention Security Act? Why would your government create an Invention Security Act to stop you from making free energy so they could lose control over their slave plantations, right? Well, simply because anything that allows the slaves to free themselves, the same reason Master doesn't allow guns on the plantation. Anything that will free you will break them. Right, these things are all control systems. You're either under some sort of free will with free energy, or you're under control system under banks and lords and Caesars. Right? And so I got this religion thing, kind of spiritual thing-ish thing, that just tells me that I need to trust, I need to have faith in nature, and I do. That I need to have faith in this God thing that said free will is a thing. And that makes me an anarchist. That makes me a free will, God-loving, nature-loving, everything works out for the best if you take care of everything, anarchist, free will, sovereign creature thing. And I got to stand up for your sovereign, free will, anarchical, go do what you need to, free creature thing. But we only get there as if we free people. And that's why I start off not singing this video with Simple Kind of Man, because I couldn't hit one of the notes. I tried to hit the notes. I try to stay in my lane. That does not happen to be my lane. Pat Riley can hit the notes. I cannot. I'm a simple kind of man. Keep it simple. Free people, leave them alone. That's it. That's it. So the Invention Security Act, now the great thing I'll tell you about that is that now it's a discussion item, right? Because now the Trumpsters are onto it and Q is onto it. I want to go take a look because I have not been paying attention. I mean, I know these things exist because we got the 100 or so engineers who lobbied Congress to have hearings to release the technologies they developed, right? And so I don't believe that there's one free energy device called a solar panel. I don't believe there's another free energy device called a wind vane. I don't believe in another free energy device called a hydro generator. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands of free. There's somebody in Africa peeing in a machine. Did y'all see that? Somebody's a kid in Africa peeing in a machine. There's free energy everywhere. There's all these different devices, and every time you make one, it's classified. It becomes classified. Let's look at the Invention Security Act. Hold on a second. Let's go on over here. Then I'm just going to read the comments. I just like to keep it simple. And that was really the discussion this morning. I was just like, yeah, I'm not all that interested in fighting over UFOs and aliens and debates and stuff. If aliens don't exist in you to you, then they just don't exist. And people need to leave you alone. You are alone in the universe. You are the salt of the earth. There ain't nothing else around you. God made you and it stopped. You're the best thing on the planet. The best thing in the solar system. Galaxy in the universe. You developed intelligence. Ain't nothing intelligent but you. That used to be me. I used to be so narcissistic and sociopathic. I was alone in the universe. I was a salt of every damn thing. And then I started looking around like, oh no, I don't think that's how things work. I think we're just a piece of a big hole, big a-hole. Let's not be a-holes. But I was, but I'm evolving. All right, here we go. Let's start out here. Invention Security Act. Now, I don't know what's new on this, but I did click on something a second ago. The Invention Security Act. So you go to Wikipedia, it tells you the bits and pieces that you need to know. Basically, it says if you make something and you try to get a patent and your government, which is a corporation, a for-profit corporation, says that this is not going to be profitable for us, that the monkeys have this, they make it classified, you can't have it. And that's inside the United States. Outside the borders, we got something called a CIA. If you make that, they will know, well, first it's economic hitmen, right? They go to you and they say, hey, listen, why don't you come to the United States? And that's what happened to that dude in Africa making the free energy, the helicopter and the car. And now he's over in California. Say, listen, come on to the United States. We'll give you a great lifestyle, give you millions of dollars. You can live like a king, but you're not going to make that free energy. So here are your two options. Either you can work with me as an economic hitman, and they work with the on the government level as well. But they work with this as well, which is okay. Come on over here. Now you can't release that. That's like people back in the day who made those water cars and I forgot what that's called. And the water cars, the electric cars, and say, oh no, you can't do that. So your two options are this: you come to the United States, we give you a life like a king. We're gonna take all your research and put it in a vault. We're gonna burn it up. Or you can make your device. You can stay in your country and keep doing what you're doing. And one day you're gonna wake up and you're not gonna wake up. You're just gonna wake up like, where the hell am I at? Oh, I'm in heaven now, huh? Oh, damn, y'all was serious, huh? Y'all really like controlling people? Y'all like money and power, huh? I didn't really get that when I was alive. Now I'm dead. Okay, well, maybe next time around I'll figure that out. So they give you two options. That's what the Invention Security Act is. So you got all those engineers who got together. I think there was a good link on here somewhere. So you can go read it yourself. But, governments don't make laws for nothing. They make them for crafty reasons to control people. Legislation is the opposite of freedom, right? You're not helping nobody with free will if you're behind people that write legislation. Same as the people fighting climate change behind governments that spray poisons and subsidize it all over the farms so that there's no soil that accumulates carbon, and there are very few plants that can do it well either. Try to help yourself. So here we go. I really don't want to. I clicked on it before. I'm kind of scared to click on it again. But it says, under the Invention Security Act in 1951, patent applications on new inventions can be subject to secrecy orders restricting their publication if government agencies believe that disclosure would be detrimental to national security. What is national security? How is the nation secured? Is it secured on freedom? Is it secured on democracy and liberty? Do they hate us for our freedoms? Or does our government control us because they control energy? Is that why we go to work? Because they actually control the energy? So I'm going to click on that. I wanted to read it first, and then I'll click on it. I'm not sure what's going to happen when I click on it. This is old stuff, and I hate to do that to people that I've already talked to about this. It's just not everybody seeming to get this yet. 5,000 inventions in limbo under the security orders of U.S. Patent. Why? U.S. Patent Office. And the good thing is the Q people are talking about it. I think they should keep talking about it. Why? Because this is why we have the problems we do on the planet. This is why banks exist. Currency only exists to control people. That's the only reason they invented currency. Caesars, the billionaires, the kings, the lords, they needed you to go to work. And the only way you work for them if you had a farm and a house and wife at home, husband at home, chickens and ducks and geese, and you were good to go. You didn't have to do nothing for their money, right? King created money. Why? It represents human labor, right? To get you to go to work. There's no reason for human labor if energy is free. So from the very first kingdom, the very first Caesar, the very first king, the very first chief, energy could not be free. From the very beginning, it could not be free because it means that you wouldn't work for them as a slave. All right. And that was a discussion I was having with Brother Walter this morning. He said, well, let's talk about banks. Let's not talk about UFOs and free energy. It has nothing to do with anything. I'm like, no, it's the basis of your slavery. It is the very basis. There is nothing more important. I drop everything. Anytime there's a damn UFO in the news, I'll drop everything. And if people jump into, aliens, they don't exist, or they do exist. And it's like, that's not the point. The point is you're a slave, and that is your freedom right there. You got shackles on your ankles to gravity and governments and corporations and banks, and that is the key right there. You just got to get people talking about it. So anyway, John Rappaport, which is actually a familiar name. I don't know him. I know that y'all mention him a lot. But it's for many individuals, the notion of being in outer space on various missions. I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to read it. I think you know what? I don't feel like it. I just don't. This is so old to me. All of this is old, right? The engineers went to Congress and said, release our patents. And Congress said, no, we're not going to have hearings on it. It's classified information. We can't have hearings on it. And that's how they lock you. They criminalized free energy. All right. They criminalized it. It is an act of terror to have free energy. But I'll send you the link, or you can go click on it. I read part of it. It goes through the details. People don't like to read the law. They like conjecture. They like to make things up on the internet. Oh, let's not do angry faces unless you want to bring the troll. Let's do happy faces. Happy time. We live in a good time. We can flip the script right now. But here you go. There are 5,135 inventions that were under securities orders at the end of the fiscal year in 2010. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office told Secrecy News last week. It's a 1% rise over the year before and the highest total in more than a decade. Why? Because people are still making free energy. They're still making it. They haven't stopped. They just don't understand if you make it, you actually have to release it. You can't go for a patent. And Stephen, no, not Stephen Greer. What's his name? It's Stephen Greer. Stephen Greer told you that. He works with these inventors. They say, well, every time we make it, we try to release it. Well, once again, if you try to do it, I think outside the patent office, then maybe you just disappear. But it doesn't really matter. It's still an act of terror. You make it, they classify it. Whether you try to get a patent or not, it's criminalized, right? These are just facts. People don't like to read laws. Governments don't write laws for nothing. They write laws for a reason. And that's one law. That's the Invention Security Act of 1951? I apologize to anybody who I'm like going back on very old information, but people don't know this and they don't know why they're slaves. They don't know what they're enslaved to. They still think a virus is coming to get them. It's like, no, you just need to cover up. Let me put that away. You just need to cover up when you flip the currencies. You need the people to be scared and in their house. They can't be out there in a growth-based economy. You can't flip the currency for profit. Right? If people are still working and they're watching the banks and they're watching their profit, if you're flipping that currency because you got a fiat currency and it's expired or it's no longer something you can cover up, or you want to sell the corporation or you want to sell the bank, you need to have a reason to shut down the economy. You can't have people buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling in the market, watching the stocks and everything, because if you do that, it'll be obvious that this is a scam. But once again, that's the Act of 1871. This is why I don't do politics. I'm not interested in parlor tricks. I like reading the law. You want to know what the Caesars are up to? Read the law. Ignore the television. All right, that's it. Corbett report. Yes, Melissa Corbett. And Corbett talked about it. Corbett talked about it. All he talked about climate change. You're not going to like what he had to say about climate change. You know, and you're not going to like what he has to say about Project Bluebeam. They've planned this stuff. The whistleblower. This is why on my wall I have I heart whistleblowers. The whistleblowers are the ones who are doing more to get you back within God's will and freeing the energy. All right. All right. Goodness. Energy source is not the same as free energy. It has a source, right? And all energy has a source. And if you don't pay for the source, is it a cost to you? I don't pay for the sun, Brother Paul. I don't pay for the sun. I don't pay for the sun. So am I paying any cost? What is it called when you don't pay a cost for the flowing river? What is it called when you don't pay a cost for gravity and waves and you got an energy generator off the coast, right? What is that called? It's not called 1 cent. not called 0.1 cents. It's called free. All right. So that's what I'm saying. And that's what no, it's not what I'm saying. Let's take that back. Not what I'm saying. What do I know? It's what the smartest man alive has ever said, and the smartest men alive today said. And not the ones that's getting paychecks. You're on who's Del Bigtree's video yesterday. He was talking about it. He asked the question, he said, well, what scientists can you trust? No, what scientists aren't biased, right? And I was sitting there thinking about it, because I was in my own head. That's what I do. I'm a simple man. Like I said, I'm a simple man. I garden, I grow things, I look at the world, I look at nature and say, oh yeah, that's how that works. Okay. And I look at scripture and okay, and I try to help people. And I just said in my head, well, what scientist isn't biased? I said, well, if you work for a for-profit corporation, you're going to have some bias. If you got a mortgage, you got a wife at home, you got a husband at home, you went to school, got this degree, you got kids that got field trips, and you're a for-profit person working from within a for-profit organization, then you are all biased. The only non-biased scientist is one who does it for free, one who just does it for love. Everybody else has a bias, right? So anyway, let me see. Cars can run on salt water. Yeah, they can, Jack. And that's the thing. We got to keep saying it. This is what I'm saying. When people, and that was what the discussion was this morning. It was like, well, let's talk about something important. There's nothing more important than slavery. It's why violence exists. It's why all the wars exist. It's why neighbors are in conflict with their neighbors over money, over their yards and new laws and politics. It all goes back to energy, and energy is free. There's nothing more important than energy is free. Always go back to that. And Jack, how many ways has it been free? How many ways do we even not know about? The only ones we even get a little hint about were the ones that actually did it and released it on YouTube, and then the YouTube videos deleted and they disappeared. And they're still around. They haven't disappeared. Those are the only few that we knew about. The vast majority of engineers, I would imagine, who created free energy devices did not put them on YouTube. But of course, everything is monitored and everything is watched. You're not going to do anything with no magnets or anything else that actually works without getting somebody to knock on your door. It's the same way like courts, what we were talking about yesterday, how courts, what do they call it when they seal the records, seal the files? They seal the files. And once they seal it, it doesn't exist in your reality. Which is the interesting part about dimensions, if you think about it. We are within a banker's dimension. We are within a energy slave's dimension because they literally keep things from us, which is how they stay in power. And this is why I have it right here: free will, free energy. And to me, it all fits together. Patrons of patriotism. I was going to sleep last night, and that's what I was thinking about that. And I was just like, man, I'm a patriot. Because I've always been a patriot. Oh, I had the flag. I was a Boy Scout, Civil Air Patrol. Oh, man, if that flag touched the ground, we'd burn that sucker. Oh, no, you're not defiling my master's symbol. And then George Carlin says symbols are for the symbol-minded. Like, man, I don't like you. Shut up. People like to say stuff that starts to evolve you. And I realized, no, I'm a patriot to freeing the human race. I'm a patriot to freedom and liberty. And there's not a government on this planet that believes in freedom and liberty, because government is the exact opposite of freedom and liberty. Or a government that writes legislation. Now, there's a different type of government that I'm not really aware of. I'm new to the anarchy thing. I didn't really realize Yeshua Christ was an anarchist, but he really was. the Christ consciousness, whatever that is. Nikola Tesla was an anarchist. Einstein was an anarchist. I think when people start to realize these things, it takes you to a different place. It takes you to a different place. Am I rambling? I'll stop, Paul, if I'm rambling. Am I rambling, or did I say anything that sunk in, Paul? Did I say anything that sunk in? Because this is not me and you. Like I said, I'm a deferrer. I'm the biggest deferrer on the planet. This is not my information. I'm merely a parrot. I'm telling you what the smartest men on the planet have said. And if other people are smarter than them, God bless you. I'm glad that you're here. And I can't wait till you invent all the modern technology the same way that they have. But I used to be smarter than Tesla too. I was smarter than Michio Kaku. I was smarter than Einstein. I'm just not now. I'm not now. I defer to people who know things that I don't know. All right. I'm done with that. I'm just gonna read comments because I can go on about free energy, but I don't want to be rambling. to be rambling. I just don't want to be within Caesar's will. And right now, we got a massive Caesar on this planet. We have a global cult that runs the world. And the only reason they got people who will take up guns and arms against you, and they keep the nations that take up guns and arms against them, and they keep war and violence, are the people who control the currency and the banks. Those are the people who control the energy. I don't think energy should be controlled. I think it should be free. And we know it's free. All right. God's a primitive concept and a control tool. I agree with Paul. I agree with you, Paul. You're right about, he is right. I agree with you. God is a primitive concept and a control tool. I absolutely agree. But I'm gonna add to that little g God. I'm gonna say little g God is a primitive control, and it always has been being utilized to control people. People ran into some old scriptures. The kings, the Caesars, the lords figured out how they use these scriptures to get the monkeys to do what they need them to do, and they modified scriptures and they changed them, they flipped it, they added some dogma to it to control people. I totally agree with you. Little g God. But there is a big G scientific God, like I said, whether it's Planck energy, whether it's microbiology, fungi networks, it's within inside everybody. It's a Gnostic thing. The only way, like I like that scripture called, what was you talking about, how God is omnipotent? How can God be omnipotent and all-knowing if it's not in everything and everywhere? You know, and so there's, I don't like the word Gnostic, but whatever the creator is, it's inside of everybody. You know, which is why it fits in with the whole anarchy and leave everybody alone in sovereignty. Everybody you meet is a piece of God or a God. You got to respect and love them as though they are God. But you don't have to. You can do anything you want to do. But that's how my mind works. Let me see. Oh, Paul, guys, no free energy. Don't spread BS. Well, it's not my BS, Paul. I'm not spreading it. I have not made a free energy device. I tried. I got some magnets, I put them together, and I create this little device. I got rare earth magnets, and you'd spin it, and it would spin for a long time, but it was not free energy. So if I told you about my free energy device, Gerard's free energy device, I'd be spreading bullshit. I am a voice for the hundreds of engineers who created the devices who are saying they became criminals and domestic terrorists if they actually kept their notes or their devices and the government took them. Those are the people I cheer. So I'm spreading their bullshit. I'm not your target. You need to talk to them. If we don't free the human race, violence is going to stay alive. And free energy exists just how whatever God is in his omnipotent design for universes and galaxies and dimensions, put a sun in between all of these big balls we call planets and put the monkeys on it and gave them all that free plasma energy. But God paid the cost. Ooh, we should sing that in church. God paid the cost, whatever God is. All right. Even worse, running on gas. And that's why this is a core thing, Christine. We are literally burning up the planet with gas. We are literally helping to burn the planet. Now, the planet was going to burn up anyway, which is why I don't get on the climate change thing. The planet, hell yeah, was going to burn up because all planets burn up because the sun's the big free energy device in the sky. It expands and melts the earth. But we're burning for our lack of knowledge. And that's the only reason why I'm like, I'm here doing it. I try to keep it simple. We are literally burning for our lack of knowledge. And that is a scripture too, you know, and I think there's a whole lot of meanings to that. Speeding up the burn because we're using gas and fossil fuels and fracking. Yeah, we are burning for our lack of knowledge. And that was part of the discussion this morning. Well, Walter, well, what do you do? Well, that's not a root problem. It's the only problem. Extinction kind of sucks. It's going to kind of suck a little bit and killing everything on the planet. There was something I wanted to change, though. It's not that you burn for your lack of knowledge. No, it wasn't it. There was another scripture about being free, render unto Caesar what is Caesar, and unto God's what is God's. It'll come to me. I'm just going to read comments. Drop it like a hot Mac Daddy. Yes, people need to drop it like it's hot Mac Daddy, Courtney, but not me. I listen to smart people and I repeat them. That's all I do. And I try to piece it together, the parts and the pieces that I understand, so we can do the right things at a root level, solve root level problems, and don't worry about the side effects. Because I see everything else as a side effect. You know, you're not going to solve a problem with a side effect. If we're going to debate the side effects, then I'm just debating you to control you. Right? You're either dealing with the problem at the root level, or I'm like trying to start a movement to take your energy so I can control you. right? If you want, you just keep drilling down. It's problem analysis, root cause analysis, and we fail at that. I unfortunately did that pretty well because I was a geek. I was a geek. Nobody would date me, couldn't go nowhere, couldn't do nothing because I was in corporate America, and all I did, I like to write software and read, right? And got pretty good at root cause analysis. You sit down and you're like, say we're in a conference room. Say we're all in a conference room. We're all talking about the problems in the world. People over here talking about rape, and over there they're talking about violence. Over there they're talking about gangs. Over there they're talking about lack of freedom. Over there talking about they don't own their land. And then over there they're talking about racism, right? Hate crimes. And so you take it all and you wrap it up and say, okay, well, is there one central cause to all of this violence? Is there one central cause for this lack of happiness and the banning of the pursuit of happiness in a nation that says you're supposed to be able to pursue your happiness? And it always comes down to energy. It always comes down to control. Men trying to control women, blacks trying to control whites, whites trying to control blacks, Pennsylvania trying to control Florida or Jersey, America trying to control Bolivia. And it's all gets back to energy. The only reason people want to usurp control over you is because it's profitable for them. But when you take energy out of the equation, you take profit out. The only reason violence exists, the only reason that we conflict is we don't have what we feel that we deserve, right? When kids are born, do they fight in a daycare? Or do they, there's something there. There's something there, right? From the mouth of babes, and there's probably a lot of scriptures about kids, but we are closest to what we are as children. And when children are born, what are they? What do they do? Right? If everybody's got a toy, everybody's got a pacifier, everybody's got some milk, they all just play goo goo gaga and they smile and have a great time. But when you start denying things from them, when you start taking them away, they learn to lie to get things. They learn to fight to get things. They learn violence for things. They learn dark energy, evil things that made this God come back and give us these commandments, which is to work together, love each other, and the basic core messages that bleed into natural law and across all the major religions. Right? We are made into monsters. We're not born monsters, and we're made into monsters because there's not enough to go around. Now you got 3D energy, you got 3D printers and free energy. Why does money exist anymore? What is the argument for money existing? Nothing. I used to be a capitalist, and I'm still a capitalist. Don't get me wrong. I need capital. I gotta eat. That's just how it goes. It's springtime, so I grow most of my food, so I pull myself away from that system as much as possible. But in reality, if you can 3D print everything that the babies need, what do they fight over? If you 3D print everything all the adults need, what do they fight over? What is war? Why does war exist? No one exists. It takes us back pre-king, pre-chief, when everybody has a farm and they got all the things that they need, and they're happy. Happy people don't become violent people. That's what I'm saying. It's the core. It's the core of every problem in this conference room we call Earth. We are all slaves, and we fight to have control over other nations. We call it patriotism. It's not patriotism, it's devilism. It's satanicism, right? If you feel that you can control somebody else or another group, or you even try to, it's not a God that you're serving. You're serving something, but it's not a God that you're serving. Have you seen the carbon nanotubes that's self-assemble in the energy field of the Tesla coil? I did Kim Jackson a long time ago. I used to spend a lot of time on free energy. I don't anymore. There's so many different ways. I mean, making water out of thin air, that metal that bends. It's a metal that has infinite energy. You bend it, it always pops back, and I think they even made a motor out of that. It was in the news in the 1930s and it disappeared, right? Because all they did was classify it, and that's why it disappeared. Stephen Greer put those pieces together. We just don't want to pick them up, and we need to pick them up. All right. I gotta watch Dell. I've never. Oh, you never? Can you direct me? Oh, please, Desiree, watch Dell. You need to. He puts a lot of pieces together from the medical industry, pharmaceutical industry, another means of control. I have no idea why people are waiting back for Caesar to make a cure. I have no idea. You get like who Caesar is in this analogy. Render unto God what is God's, and unto Caesar what is Caesar, or to Satan what is Satan. You always have people trying to control. And sometimes Sometimes, not always governments, not always political parties, not always politicians, and not always kings, and not always lords. Sometimes there are friends. Sometimes there are movements, you know. And this is why I try to avoid the side effect conversations, right? The side effect arguing and fighting whether or not aliens exist and who is the best nation, what nation, who's the best government, ism, communism, capitalism. It's all control systems, right? You're not rendering unto God what is God's. Ask that question, what is Caesar's and what is God's? I think Christ was being facetious. I think he was being facetious with, you know, well, you render unto God's what is God, you render unto Satan's what is Satan. Oh no, you render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and what is Caesar's? I was thinking about it this morning, and I had to go back to see the thread and see what people posted. I think the only thing that belongs to Caesar, because Caesar didn't make nothing. Caesar didn't make no viruses. He didn't make no bacteria. He didn't make nothing. He didn't make no people. But the only thing Caesar can own is energy. Energy. I keep going back to this consent thing. I think y'all are really onto something with this whole, there's a darkness and spiritual warfare and your consent. Caesar only owns energy, like any king, lord, politician, political party, is the energy that you give to it, right? Any abuser, you have to give it the energy. You literally have to consent to it controlling you. And so Caesar does own things, but it's people, energy that they give him, right? Where they say, I consent to you. I'm a patriot to you, Caesar. I am a nationalist for you, Caesar. You own my energy. And so you render that under Caesar. And I guess in that analogy is why you got to leave people alone. So I leave people alone. They want to be Americans, they can be American. You want to be, you know, Botswanians, be a Botswanian, Zambesian, Britain, you can be anything you want to be. You can give your energy to whatever dark sources you want to. I can't get down. All right. Splitting hairs, he's way off. Looking for the critique, can you see the whole picture? Can't you see the whole picture G is talking about? Criticize those banning free energies before you say it doesn't exist. And Jack, I appreciate you getting in a discussion with that, because and it's not my picture, right? There's a whole picture and it's not mine. I try to be humble enough to listen to smart people. And they're the ones who put all these pieces together. Like, wow. The only reason we all have gripes is because we're kept in a false reality. Not everybody's ready to see that, and that's okay. Like I said, you have to render people where they want to place their energies. And you know, my energy is just free people. Leave Melissa alone, leave Brenda alone, leave Paul alone, leave Christine alone, leave Beaufort alone, leave Norma alone. All you can do is educate people. Leave Patricia alone. On YouTube by yourself, darling. How you doing? You're early today. Yeah, I'm early today, Patricia Hauser. I got kids to feed. I ran into some ideas yesterday. I'm hustling, trying to do everything I can to give free food to people who need free food, or low-cost food to people. I think we're coming into a time where food prices are going to go through the roof, and we're going to have food scarcity. People posting pictures of lines at food banks, you know. And it's what I love to do. And this is a funny part. So about Patricia Hauser, it's like, well, why would you grow food and give it away? It makes me feel good. I don't know. Passion. Maybe that piece of God that's in me is conflicting with the monkey stuff. I don't know. It makes me feel good. I do it. Well, why would you write software and tell people they should just go be free and live their lives? Because I like doing it. It's crazy to me. Don't ask me. I don't want to see me sitting at home, sitting behind a PC, writing software to build you houses and 3D print things and give you everything. But I love doing it. It makes me feel good. Right? It makes me feel good. And that's it. And you know, you go give somebody a big basket of cucumbers or tomatoes, and you know they got laid off or they're struggling. It makes you feel good. Right? I love that. And what's that, Brother Paul talking about anarchism? Right. And I'm an anarchist, brother. And I know he is too. And we're just having a discussion. That's all it is. I love that, brother. But I don't see any route to anarchism, to anarchy, other than free energy. I don't see a route to anarchy other than getting human beings off of the things that have enslaved them since kings and lords and them hiding technology, right? And anarchism, the debates against anarchism are valid though, right? Like, we can't have anarchy right now. Oh, no. Have you seen the Americans? Have you talked to any of them? Have you been to the ghetto recently? Have you gone to the trailer park recently? I got a whole bunch of survivalist friends in bunkers with AK-47s and M4s and all kind of grenades. People denying their freedom. They used to be patriots. They realized what the Act of 18 said. Oh no, you can have anarchy right now. We got people, women trapped in their houses with husbands that don't know how to not hit them. Come on, no, we can't. We're not ready for anarchism yet. It's a goal. We got to get to that Garden of Eden design of anarchy where you can release the people to go do good things, right? You just can't go and throw a bunch of human beings in a daycare like, oh, here's original design. You know, here's the daycare. There's only a few Lincoln Logs and a few Tinker Toys. There's only 4 big wheels. No, they're going to kill each other. We can't have anarchy tomorrow. We get there by freeing people, right? And now is the time we can have that great discussion about it because it's obvious free energy has always existed. Energy's always been free, and we have the technology to pretty much make it free. I mean, it might cost 0.0000001 cent if we let them keep the secret patented ones. But the ones that are publicly released, we know we can make higher efficient solar panels. We make highly efficient wind vanes. We don't even need them. You know, we just need to get over our trying to control other people and collect and hoard more than what each other have, right? So we can get to anarchy as a model, back to that Garden of Eden, free will, everybody's free, but we got to free the energy first. These people aren't going to go back to growing their food. They're not going to go back to building their houses. They're not going to go back to growing lifestyles, and I don't blame them. They've made us dependents to all of this stuff for a reason. That's why the Caesars did it, because they broke us. They made us dependents. These people aren't going to go be independent, and I don't blame them. They weren't born in a world where you know, they were churning and making their own butter and raising their own food and all of that. These people want to live in apartments and houses. They want them to be clean. They don't want no viruses in there. And so I'm not trying to break them. You know, I just understand that they don't have to go to work. And if they don't have to go to work, they become happy. You know, she likes to sew. This woman likes to bake. And that dude likes to go work on DIY products and stub his toe like Tim Allen. You need to go do that. You need to make music, be an entertainer, dance, sing. And when people go do things that make them happy, they become happy creatures. Then we can talk about anarchy. We got to free them first. And so that first battle is we have to accept reality. And reality is energy has always been free. Every single form of it on our plane where we are. Because on a higher plane, it comes to us. And the one I love the most is the one everybody sees every morning. That's why the sun makes me happy. When I see it come up in the morning, I'm like, oh, here go that free energy device. God is good. Isn't God good? The spaghetti God good too. Jesus God, Allah God, Shiva God. All the gods, they all good. They all seem to come here, and I don't know what they are. But they all just said take care of each other, look out for each other, and love each other. And I believe that that's the right model for the world. Y'all having some discussions now. Go on and get it. It's entertaining to me. I try to stay out of the discussions. Like I said, I'm a simple kind of man. I like to keep things simple. People perish for their lack of knowledge. Yes, they do, Gabrielle, and we are all going to perish with the ecosystem, with everything on here. Everything but bugs and some bacteria and fungi. And then they'll bring everything back, and then we'll do it again, and we'll wipe each other out, we'll bring it back. I think it's something about living on a rock, and it got that big free energy device above us. We don't seem to figure it out, and we keep starting these Kali Yugas. We keep starting these Yugas over and over and over again. And we're in the last Yuga, the Kali Yuga. And either we're going to create a paradigm shift into something amazing or we're not. It's a great thing that we are shut down. Why? Because we're shut down now, we can have these discussions. Everybody's at home, people are more focused. You know, we are slaves. We've been enslaved. We're not slaves, we're commodities. The model is slavery, but we're technically commodities to corporations. And that world has to go away. They just do it to control people. I've always been a weirdo. It's good to be a weirdo, Melissa. The weirdos are the free people. In my opinion, like if you fit in, if you're a clone, you're doing what other people are doing, then you're part of the problem. You're part of the controlled world that Caesar gives you. If you have that passion, those spiritual gifts, the thing that God gives you, whatever God is, then you're off living free. You're living how you're supposed to. When you're being controlled by income and mortgage and banks and debts and all of this stuff, then you fall within man's will. And you're never going to live the life you're supposed to live as a free human being locked within the crafty creations of man, right? You mean a nerd? Yeah, I was a nerd. I'm still a nerd. I love it. But I'm trying to make nerd feel good, Norma. I'm still a geek. I'm more of a gardening geek now. I still write software too. We shall listen to our elders. Jack, our elders always told us, and we don't. We don't seem to be able to process. I grew up, like I said, I had a grandmother. I had two of them. I never knew who was in my family. We got so many colorful people in our family, Jack. I don't even know who they are. I go to family reunions and I'm like, hey cousin, hey cousin, hey cousin, how you been, cousin? I don't even know who these people are. I had no idea. I ain't never seen you in my, oh, how you been? You look so big now. Oh, where all your hair go? You know, I'm like, I love you too. Oh, it's been a long time, Jack. I just be lying. I said, I don't even know who these monkeys are. Oh, I'm related to all of them because my grandmother always helped people. They needed food, you gave them food. They needed energy, you gave them energy. Energy's free. You got a passion to make things, you make those things, give them away. That smile you get back is good enough. And you don't wait to get anything in return. We're like the energy we have is free. We were given that by our elders. If somebody has a need, you give it to them. You know, Jack, like I don't even talk about universal health care because I just believe in don't let people die. That's something our elders gave us. You're supposed to give that energy. If you got it, you're not supposed to make somebody pay for a device, a machine that'll save their life. That's psychopathic, narcissistically man-made economic control system, non-free will ignorance. You can save somebody's life, you save somebody's life. Because I mean, the funny thing is, I just don't think we think about it. Right? It's like, you know, you're driving on the road. Like, it's like, no, you know, we need capitalism to drive the medical industry. Like, okay, yeah, how's that working out? How's that working out? Is anybody looking? Are you outside? Are you inside? Did they just shut down your economy? How's that working out? That you have a big corporation, pharmaceutical industry that can shut down your country until you buy their product? How does that feel? How's that working out? Giving all the power, all your energy to a Caesar called the pharmaceutical industry. No, I just believe in helping people, right? And the funny thing, Jack, everybody believes that. Here's an example. You're in a car driving down the street and a car accident happened. Last time I was driving, I was on a highway. And it was like a 3 or 4 lane highway. And there was a large median in the middle. Hill, dips, snow, rocks. It was wintertime. Somebody on the other side going the other way slid and crashed. I posted it. And by the time I saw it in the distance, I probably saw it, I was probably about maybe half a mile away, something like that. By the time I got to where the accident was, because I was going to get out and help. Jack, I ain't had to get out and help, brother. I just kept on, I kept going on to slavery. It was nowhere to park. The car crashed, and you had about 20 people who parked, jumped out. Lady was in a dress, going to work with some pumps on, and she's climbing over a snowbank to get to the other side of the road to help somebody. And guess what happened, Jack? Nobody got up there and said, where's your insurance card? You got some money? How much money you got? Where your wallet? Got your purse? How much money you got before I help you? Nope. I saw all these free energy devices called humans going to work, understood because it's frozen, the roads is cold, snow in Pennsylvania, jumped and run to go help somebody. Nobody asked about what does this healthcare cost? At our personal level, we don't believe in these things. We don't believe in the nonsense on the level of the Caesars. We believe in doing what's right. We all do, and it's within us all because it makes us feel good. I bet you, Jack, when I got to work, I didn't feel as good as when they got to slavery. When they got there and they was picking their cottons, I bet you they was singing loud and I was singing that day because I didn't get out and help. I couldn't find nowhere to park. But they did. It makes them feel good. That's that endorphin hit. That's that God within everybody. When you do good things, sustainable things to help people, it makes you feel good. And that's a paycheck. That's a paycheck better than any paycheck you're going to get on a Friday. You know what I mean? So free energy is real and helping people. So I don't, universal health, you can call these things anything you want to call them. Right? We know what we're supposed to do. Every child is born knowing what we're supposed to do. You see somebody crying, what do? You feel bad. Right? Somebody you don't know, and somebody you don't like, that's a whole nother question. Right? Kids see each other, one's crying, the other starts crying. The other's crying, you see the kid at daycare, go and start patting him on the back. The other kid will go up and hug him. The kid, we're born with these things. We're made into the psychopathic monsters that want to fight each other and over energy. That's free. And money, and grades, and jobs. We're made into that by the Caesars. Why? Because we're rendering our energy to the Caesar, and that energy belongs to the God. And the God that's winning everybody. I don't really have much of a choice if Jack came around and asked me for help. I don't have no choice if Susie came around and asked me. I don't have no choice if Mary came around and asked me. I don't have no choice if Christine wanted some food. I don't have no choice if Desiree needed some pants. I don't have no choice if Patty needed a place to stay. I have no choice if Melissa needed some lettuce, right? Those are if I have those things, I am supposed to give them to them. The energy is always free. It's been given free to me. How can I not give it up? How can I hoard it? Somebody's posting about hoarding a second ago. How can I hoard what's not even mine? What I didn't create. I'm not Caesar. Oh, or is that it? Because I think I'm a little Caesar. I'm a little dictator. I'm a hoarder. I'm taking things that I didn't create and I'm rendering them unto me. I don't know what it means. Don't ask me what it means. I don't know where I'm at in terms of thought. I think about this stuff out loud and I ain't figured it out. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just trying to be a better person. And the only way I can do that is being honest. I was born a capitalist. I was born conservative. I was given these ideas that, you know, prosperity equals blessing and these prosperity ministries. And I believed in all of that stuff. And now where I'm at, I'm just like, wow, Christ has nothing to do with these things. Christ never asked for a paycheck when someone came to touch the hem of his garment and heal. Christ never asked for, Christ never voted. Christ never joined a political party. Christ never had anything to do with none of that nonsense. People asked for help and it helped. And I'm pretty sure Muhammad and Shiva, and I don't know a whole lot about all the others, probably fall along the same lines as what Nikola Tesla did. Free the world. Just gotta free the world. So I don't know where it's taking me. This is a voyage I'm just taking with my friends, and I say things that are wrong, and I go back and I read these comments, and they say, well, did you think about this? Here's some other, or this is supporting your thoughts. That's the only way I know how to get better as a community, right? How do we get better as a community if we don't know what Mary needs? How do we get any better if we don't know what Marissa wants? How do we do anything right if we don't know what Megs needs to make Megs happy? Right? If we don't look out for Mary Miller and she has the things that she needs, she's gonna have a bad day. When she has a bad day, misery loves company. Right? Mary Miller could be a police officer. I know she's not, but she could be. And if she is, and I give Mary Miller a bad day, she's having a bad day, and she runs into somebody selling cigarettes on a corner in New York. What happens to Chris Gardner selling cigarettes on a corner in New York? He ain't got a pot to piss in or roof to throw it out. Now he's gonna have a bad day too. What if Desiree is an FBI agent, right? And she happens to be assigned to Lavoy Finicom? She goes on down there. She's having a bad day. She's not happy. She's not trying to spread the love and joy. She goes down there to arrest Lavoy Finicom. He jumps out the truck. He's an old rancher guy just trying to do his thing too. And she shoots him. Every problem we have in the world goes back to energy. It goes back to them keeping us controlled in a matrix that isn't reality. Comments and we get out of here. This is why we get what we get. Yeah, Christine, we do. How does that saying go, Christine? You can take us back to daycare. You get what you get, and that's it. How's that saying going? I remember that one slightly. They broke me since daycare. Since the daycare teacher taught me all the powerful things that the gods taught. You get what you get, and something about that's it. Right? You find happiness in what you have. You don't need to be the Caesar. You don't need to have a kingdom. You don't need a faster car. You don't need a bigger car. You don't need a big house. You're not fighting climate change from a McMansion based on all the fossil fuels, right? You get what you get, and something, that's it. Somebody, have y'all forgotten to? I know that's not the same, but live within your means is another way of saying it. You get what you get. Don't get upset. Thank you. Right, Christine? Because we don't like what we get. I didn't like what I got. I was born. I didn't like what my father got me. Oh, no. He didn't give me my He-Man. He didn't get me my Transformers on time. He didn't get me the G.I. Joes I want. The rich kid up the street got the aircraft carrier. I only got the little HISS truck for Christmas. I had to go to school and get me some grades. I had to get me some grades. I had to beat them kids over the head with. I had to go to college. I had to go to a good college, get a degree, got to get a job. Oh, no. I was not. I got what I got, Christine, and I was upset. I was upset. Hell no, we're going to beat some people down into poverty. The worst crime in human history. More people die in poverty than any other situation that you got going. I had to beat them down into poverty, Christine, because I was upset. I was not happy with what I got. Now I try to live within my means. You know what? I don't need to keep up with the Joneses, right? I don't need to keep up, you got a new stereo system, or you got this, or you got that. I really don't need to keep up. I find that the things that make me happy in life are the Garden of Eden. I find the things that make me happy in life, Christine, now are all free. It's amazing. It's amazing. I don't have to participate in Caesar's world as much as I did, because now I don't get upset anymore. Right? Give me some seeds, a little bit of land, I'm good to go. I grow some food, it becomes a bumper crop, and I can give a bunch of it away, and I got food to eat. Oh man, that's a great life and a great living, right? Even better if I automate the system and I give it to another land for free. Hand it to another town, because not everybody wants to do that. It may be that Patty is not interested in that. Patty, and I know Patty loves being outdoors. I go to everybody's page every now and then, but maybe Patty wants to just live in the city and just wants some food, because what makes Patty happy is writing some songs, living in an apartment with the convenience. Well, Patty should be allowed to do that. And it's my job and obligation to take my passions to make sure I can do for everybody the best I can do. But that's why they classified free energy. That's why they classified all energy. Best that they can. That's why they created the Invention Security Act. Because if they can keep us in conflict with one another, then we're not doing anything for each other. We're after each other's throats. You see what I'm saying? That's why I always default back to free energy. Anytime I see the UFO, we go back to free energy. You can't love the planet without free energy. All you can do is keep the planet in violent conflicts. That's all you can do. Conflict needs to stop. Right? We create peaceful people, and people who have the things that they have. Nobody's robbing each other. Nobody's stealing. Why would you rob? Why would you use the excess energy to rob somebody and the thing is free? You don't do that. Nothing on this planet does that. That's why the lion goes after the sick gazelle. The bear goes after the cub, the baby buffalo. Bear don't go after the mama buffalo. You can get the baby buffalo. You want to utilize as little energy as possible to get the things that you want. So nobody would steal from each other. Right? You go to a daycare and all the kids got trucks. You don't got the kids taking trucks from each other. When all the kids got jobs, they're not taking jobs from each other. When all the nations got the energy they need, not oil, then they're not warring with each other. That's the only message I got, y'all. It's free will. And that was a message that came straight out of the scripture. Free will before they did what Paul said, which is true. Before they used religion to control people, to get them to embrace low vibe dogma that has nothing to do with free will and free energy. Right? Get you to patriot free will and freeing people and sovereignty, right? To get you to render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, knowing Caesar doesn't own anything. Caesar damn sure don't own you. So why would you be patriot to a flag? Be patriot to freedom. All right, that's it. You're patroning a corporation, that you're not a patriot. It's patronage. I don't know. I'm messing up the words at this point. All right, yeah, greenhouse and geothermal, Brenda. I've been building greenhouses, right? You can grow passively. You can grow free. Food has always been free. It literally just jumps right out the ground if you take care of your soil right. You can use geothermal heating to heat the greenhouse, to heat your house. We don't need to be living ignorant. We live ignorant because we live ignorant because we are ignorant, because we're kept ignorant. How did Epstein Island have power? Well, citizen debt, mostly because they deny the power to us. And the big lords and kings and corporations make sure that their homie, lover, friend, their buddy over there has power, right? And out in the middle of the ocean, you got generators, you got solar energy, you could have free energy, yeah, you could have geothermal. That's a good point. They got power on the islands. You don't have extension cord. Anybody seen an extension cord go to Hawaii? I got friends live in Hawaii. And I want y'all to go outside, tell me you see an extension cord going to America. If not, there's a whole lot that's not being told, right? We're still using nuclear energy, right? Which is why I'm not really a doomsday prepper, because I was a doomsday prepper because the doomsday always comes. Economies always collapse. Katrina's always happen. Storms always come, and the power always goes out. I was raised in a family. We did what Brother Jack said. The elders always taught us, be prepared. Had pantries, right? I was doomsday prepper until I saw, what's the name of that show? Last Man on Earth. Last Man on Earth ruined doomsday prepping for me. It just ruined it. Because I loved it. I was like, zombie apocalypse. That's what I was praying for, the zombie apocalypse. I couldn't wait for some zombies to be walking. Because I was born in an aggressive time where you need to shoot people in the head that a zombie is trying to eat your brains. I couldn't wait. I was going to be the first one on the zombie response team, but I stopped when I watched one of the last episodes of Last Man on Earth, and I think they canceled the series. You know what it ended up? He was the last man on Earth. He found a few other people. Spoiler alert, but it's a funny show, fantastically funny. But then at the end, they had to leave this oasis of a place that they found because all the monkeys are dead. All the monkeys was gone. They had all the houses and cars and everything they needed. They started living good. Oh, he was just blowing stuff up, burning stuff up. He was having fun. It was like he was a big kid in a big toy store. But then they had to move. They had to leave because of nuclear power plants. I never thought about nuclear power plants. I never thought. I figured they probably just keep running. You know, maybe they got automatic shutdown systems. That's not how that works. This nation has 127 nuclear power plants. Somebody correct my statistics. The world has thousands of them. And in the apocalypse, in the end times, where people running in the street fighting each other over food or war or World War III or whatever happens, nobody's taking care of the nuclear power plants. That's why we deal with extinction, right? If we get a collapse situation or a global collapse because we keep a global elite cult-like group of Caesars running everything, and they're in a conflict that allows us to actually get into an uncontrollable conflict, we all going to die. Right? Because when those nuclear power plants overheat, they don't cool. Some of them might have automatic cooling systems, but do we think thousands of nuclear power plants, most of them have automated shutdown systems, I would imagine, right? Pumping water to keep the reaction, what is that called? The rods cool. Eventually the water gonna dry up. Eventually somebody's not gonna pump water in. Eventually the water from the stream is not gonna come in to keep it cool. And then when the reactor overreacts, like people at flu season, see how that works out? We all gonna die. You can't overreact. We literally live on a planet where reactors is gonna overreact if we keep acting stupid like we can't have free energy. We're all gonna die. We're just pushing that extinction. We're waiting for this overreaction that's gonna kill everybody. No difference in the overreaction of flu season. Knowing that if God didn't make anything bad, and God is a good God is a Mother Nature, spaghetti God, Christ, Yeshua, Shiva, name Mother Nature. I don't argue however they see God, I'm good with. Planck energy. But it created an ecosystem that works together. It didn't make any bad viruses. There's no bad, I'm sorry, I don't get how your mind works. We gotta fight the virus. Why would you fight the Garden of Eden? Fine told you. Like I said, that brother, and we didn't talk once. Ask him. We didn't talk once about we did not talk once about what a damn virus is, and we came to the same conclusion. They're just functions. That's all they are. And your body's gonna either utilize a function or it's not. But you gotta eat healthy food, otherwise you don't get the function. You just get sick or you die. It's all about eating healthy food. Yeah, that's what it's called, Betty. It's called a meltdown. All right, it's called a meltdown. Meltdown would be bad. Thousands of meltdowns would be bad. There's no life after people. Last man on earth, running around having fun, driving everybody's SUV, going to Hollywood, getting in their Ferraris. No, we all gonna die. We've built an unsustainable world that's based in unsustainability in every single place. All right, send it into space. Paul Bradley, what are we sending into space? Paul Bradley says, I'm God. You are God, Paul. I agree with you. You are God, which is why I don't block. I don't do any of that stuff. I appreciate your perspective. We don't agree on this, but doesn't make me love you one bit. Doesn't make me want the best in the world for you, because you are God. God is within you like God is within everybody. I can't comprehend this reality. It's too illogical. It is illogical, Susan. That's why I don't think I'm supposed to be here. That's why I don't think I'm supposed to be here. I think I got delivered to the wrong planet, the wrong dimension, the wrong ecosystem at the wrong time or something. I don't understand. Susan, I'm just like, why don't we just love everybody? You know, that's so easy. It doesn't even cost nothing. It doesn't cost nothing. You ain't got to do nothing. Just look out for everybody, and everybody else look out for everybody. And a few people at the end are still in those psychopathic warrior genes, sees everybody else looking out for everybody, then they look out for everybody. And then the planet goes to a Garden of Eden. It's not a utopia. We're still going to have problems. The asteroid's still trying to murder us. Yeah, you're going to have some viruses. It's going to be hard for our bodies to take that might try to kill us. You got parasites and everything trying to reclaim our energy. We're still going to have problems. We're still going to have problems. But our problems should no longer be each other. And that's what the gods, aliens, Try to tell everybody. See how I slip that in there? Sometimes you gotta slip it in. That's what they try to tell everybody. I think whatever the aliens are, which is going to take me to the alien portion of the discussion. Whatever the aliens are, they're a little closer to God. They've been here a few billion years longer. They probably understand things a little better than what we do. And they come here like a big brother that they see us and they feel pity for us, like the same way we do for the animals. Same way we do for the animals. Same way we do. When I used to work in the pharmaceutical industry, I was in the data center that was unlabeled. There was not one sign on that data center. Why? Because people were standing up for the animals, and if they saw that who we were, they'd throw blood at us going in. That's what they were doing in the UK. They were throwing blood in our UK. Well, it wasn't blood, it was paint. People feel that empathy, right? They look at the monkeys like, oh man, y'all are hurting monkeys. This is a bad idea. Y'all need to stop doing this, right? We feel that empathy. Whatever aliens are, I know they feel that empathy for us. That's why they've never invaded us. That's why my friends here talk about Project Bluebeam all the time. Why? Because they are going to stage an alien invasion. They literally just stage a viral invasion. They're going to stage an alien invasion because that's how they get power. They scare you, right? Whatever it is, we're going to, whatever they are, they feel empathy for us and they never invaded us, so they're never going to invade us. We got thousands of years of history. There's never been an alien invasion. You just see them flying around, taking pictures of something, doing selfies with the monkeys. They don't land down here and try to eat people and take over everything. They're never going to. Whatever they are, they feel for us the same way that animal rights activists feel for the animals. They just get linked up with the Carol Baskins and don't understand that she done fed her husband to them damn tigers. And they don't think about flu season because anybody stop and ask themselves what it takes to rush a vaccine to creation, begging Caesar for a cure. I want to stop and think about what Caesar is doing to these monkeys right now for you. Because you don't want to eat lettuce, you don't want to drink smoothies, you don't want to grow organically, you don't want to feed the world, you want to keep the conflict world going. You have any idea? You ever think about the mice and the monkeys and they're using bats and whatever else they're using to test these things on? Do you have any idea what the pharmaceutical industry is probably doing right now to the people who love animals, begging Caesar for a cure? Oh, we live in a weird world. But whatever aliens are, they have no interest in ruling us. I think they feel for us. In that example, them flying around, I don't get into discussion. Is it aliens or Space Force? It doesn't actually matter to anything important to me. To me, that's the fantasy portion of this discussion. Right? That's the fantasy portion. I don't know. You don't know. He doesn't know. But then you got a whole bunch of people who act like they know. My point is, that's a free energy device. Somebody has a different type of free energy than what we've known anywhere in the public domain. And if anybody's been vindicated and told us about this 30 years ago, Bob Lazar, then okay. If he went to Area 50, why do you think you got all these fools that was run to Area 51? They weren't fantasizing. Bob Lazar went there and he knew what S4 was. And that was the end of the discussion for me. He knew what S4, how did he know what S4 was if he didn't work at Area 51? S4 didn't even exist in the public domain at that time, so it was obvious he was there. How did he know about the hand palm scanners? Unless he was there. He was vindicated in that. How did he know about element 115? Unless he was there and he used it. And it wasn't on the periodic table then, but magically 20 years later, it's now on the periodic table. Right? How did he know these anti-gravity ships fly belly up? The belly flies towards the direction they want to go. And that's the same thing that's flying in the news. Right? And to me, that you can convict all the world's governments in a court of law very easily on just 5% of the evidence we have. And that's excluding the thousands of whistleblowers who told us this. We are in a prolific ecosystem. All right? Prolific ecosystem. And thank goodness if there are nefarious aliens out there, it's not worth them coming here. But I think they're like the lion. You want to eat what gives you the energy to survive. And there's nothing on the earth that they need, obviously. Nothing on the earth that they want. Maybe they can come here, play science and abduct some people and, like we do in the forest, inject them and give them some different DNA, try to get them to do this, that, maybe throw them in a cage or two. And people have been saying that. I don't know how true it is, but it actually makes some sense. But they're not trying to invade you. The only one who would do that is your government. In 1920s, Tesla provided us free energy. The elites took it down, stole the documentation, and built up their empire on the backs of building a slave race. Yes, Kate, and this is the problem with Kate. Kate actually reads books. She reads laws. She looks at history. And you could look at what she posted and say, well, does that make any sense? Well, did they do that with cancer? Anybody make any cancer devices? Anybody make any cancer cures? I don't think there's anything such as cancer. I think it's probably a whole amalgamation of different types of malnutrition and side effects from it that we end up calling a disease called cancer when you die. But they made those devices, and they took the devices. They took the devices for curing cancer, and they criminalized the people. And the one guy they threw in jail. You don't think they'd do that for free? Of course they did that for free. Come on, we're old enough to admit these things now. The world is more interesting when we release people to their freedom and let them go do the things they're supposed to. God is love. His energy is truth. Yeah, God is energy too. Christine, makes sense. God is love. God is in everything. It's omnipotent. You know, and this is why I think we have to have that passive Gnostic perspective where you just leave people alone. You just got to look out and wish the best for them because they're God too. Brenda Fallows, this habeas corpus is certainly illegal. And actions have been filled per David Martin. I sent that to Gerard Messenger yesterday. Thank you, Patty. I didn't see you yesterday. I was out in the mud working. It was raining. I tried to do my video and get out of here within an hour. That don't ever happen. So I was working in the rain. I was putting in my rhubarb and a few other things. So I didn't do too much on Facebook yesterday. I'll take a look at it. Thank you so much. But this is all illegal. All of this is illegal. Right? And the slowest, most cripplest, ignorant patriots hopefully can see that. They aren't treating you like you're a citizen. You're not being treated like you have a Bill of Rights or a Constitution. Globally, in all of these Rothschild nations, people are being treated as though they're commodities, as they're caged animals to be locked in their cages at their behest, at someone's behest, at the global level. That should tell you everything you need to know that the presidents don't run this thing. Patty, my brother sent me something. Let me show you what he said. Let me see if I can. No, I think if I click off of this, I'm gonna lose count. I sent me they had the presidents. Who was it? It was like Clinton and Trump and Obama and JFK and someone else. And he asked me some little silly question because he reads the Washington Post and he's a liberal. He's on the left. And Donald Trump, they were all saying something deep, I think. And then Donald Trump, the quote under him, said something like, eat some Lysol or something. What is that thing he said something? And the left taking, they misconstrue what he said the same way the right does. And he's like, did this happen? Like, and Obama was saying something intelligent, like, oh, words change the conversation. And JFK said something. And I replied to him this morning. I just basically said something like, yeah, this happened, but it's not what you think it is. I said, there's only one man in this list. I said, first of all, all of these people are war criminals. All of them are war criminals. Why? Because they all kill people. They all sign laws, legislation that end up murdering people. They all drop bombs on kids' heads, which means that me and my faith tells me I can't have anything to do with any one of these rascals, right? But one of them tried to be a little different. I'd like to tell myself that there's another one trying to be different, but this game ain't played out. It's got 4 more years to figure that out. But one of them tried it. He was a war criminal too, but he tried. His name was JFK. And people who own America murdered him for it. Before he just thought about changing things. He didn't change nothing. He just talked about it. Like, yeah, we're gonna stop these wars. We're gonna end this Vietnam War. We're gonna get rid of the Federal Reserve. And guess what happened? They killed the guy. Right. So that happened. That happened in history. But as far as the little silly quotes, the politicians are the entertainment system for silly people. I have no time. I'm too old. I'm too old. I have too much food to grow. I don't have time for politics. Right. The only politics that has anything important to do with anything is on your local level. That's it. Work with people on the local level because they control things like your water. They control things like the food in your community. They can actually invest in things because they got the money, because we are under a government structure that can take care of people. They can create a little free energy garden of Eden in your own little local community where people who have needs get those needs met so they don't rob you later. But on the national level, probably not even at the state level. I don't have too much interest in it. I don't think that you actually control anything about at that high. There are too many Caesars. There's not one Caesar. There's a whole bunch of Caesars. think you're letting the word free confuse you a bit. What am I confused on, Paul? You're talking to somebody else. Free is free. Free means no cost to me. That's free to me. In a relative sense, right? But I'm using it in a relative sense. The water, again, the stream is free for the bacteria because it just gets in the stream and it floats down the stream. Relatively, it's free to the bacteria. Is it free to the ecosystem? No. Something always pays that out. Right? White holes and black holes in different dimensions. The bottom line is, if we free people with the free energy that's relatively free to us, then we all live free. Inequality. Make that a song. We all live free, inequality. And if we actually do that, then we know we go back to where we started minimally in this progress of a Garden of Eden. You know, the psychopathy and the violence all go away. Because the psychopathy and the violence really aren't real. They're mandated side effects of keeping things from free, passionate creatures that need to express their freedom and their passion. As an intercessor, we can send energy. That's it, Patty. As an intercessor, we can send energy. And there's a whole lot to that I'm barely trying to understand, that you can give your energy to other things. And I think that fits in with this whole rendering unto Caesar. You can render under the U.S. government, incorporated, your energy. You can render your energy under the Democrats. You can render your energy to Donald Trump. You can render your energy to the Republicans. You can render your industry to Christianity. You can give your energy to anything you want. You can give your ownership to your birth. I think our greatest problem is we can't seem to get out of our birth ownership. You're born in a certain border and you take on this philosophy that the Caesars in your border, who own the land that killed, murdered, and raped and destroyed everything around you, who oppressed all your ancestors, owned you. And that you owe it a patronage to patriot it. And that's where we get the global conflicts from. The fact that you're born free, but you adopt a philosophy that you're owned by a Caesar and you begin to patriot it. We can't even get out of that minimum slave-like mindset that we're owned because we were born in a certain location. You don't owe these people nothing. You don't owe these people a damn thing. You are a free wave energy, spiritual creature of a God. You owe no man nothing. No woman either. Damn sure no Caesar. All right, excuse me for coming in late down the rabbit hole. Yeah, Jeannie, we coming up, girl. We down there, we just went down. Got a little anaerobic. We decided to come on back up. I got to get out of here. I was going to try to do an hour video today. But it was interesting. It's a Freedom Friday, so I like to talk about freedom, free energy, Freedom Friday. And a few brothers started a great discussion, so we went down that road. Free your mind and your heart will follow. That's right. Free your mind and the rest will follow. Be colorblind. Don't be so shallow. Then we should sing that, Sandra. Everybody should sing that song. Nobody thought about what it meant. And we're right back to the identities. I'm gonna be colorblind. I'm gonna free the world, get some equality, being color focused. That's right. Free, and that's how this works. You have to free the world. All right. Yep, he's a fraud. Who's a fraud, Desiree? You get what you get and don't get upset. Christine, I love that saying. Right, if we go back to what we were smart as we were when we were about 4 or 5 or 6, we can make the world a beautiful place. But if we stay 40 and 50 and 60 with our indoctrination, we just gonna burn the world up. We burn for our lack of knowledge. Certainly burn for our apathy and our gods too. We let people control the gods. Like, what's that saying goes? He who controls the food controls the people. And I'm trying to think about that from the perspective of this discussion. And he who controls the apathy of the gods controls the future. And this is what Paul is definitely right on. He who controls a god, he who controls what your God is apathetic to, and see, don't ever let disagreement, separate you from somebody who knows some things. Everybody knows some things. Everybody knows things. But he who controls the gods, he who controls those scriptures, your discernment of them, where you go, who you vote for, what you stand for, who are you okay with being killed, and who are you okay with being slaves and oppressed? He who controls your gods, whose nation is okay to use high-powered assault rifles to murder little children so they can have the Holy Land. He who controls the gods controls the future. And to me, that's called an antichrist. I don't think there's one antichrist. I'm not going to convince you to understand Revelations. I went to a few conferences on Revelations when I was younger, trying to understand it. But I tell you this, that is antichrist is energy. If Christ is a consciousness, the antichrist is a consciousness too. And that can proliferate within governments and people and politicians and narratives and churches and all the like. But if they can control what you blindly follow, then they control the future. All right. You get what you give. Who is that? Susan, and that's karma. You get, it's going to come right back to you. It's going, whatever it is, going to come right back to you. That's another thing that Yeshua Christ learned when he went to India. Studied them Sanskrit texts and Gnosticism, but that's so deep for most people. You reap what you sow too. That is it, Patty. And how's that go another way, Patty? You live by this. You live by the sword. You die by the sword. If we continue living by keeping each other slaves to energy, then we're all going to die by keeping each other slaves to energy. A lot of great sayings, a lot of great quotes. That's why I say that's why they killed Aristotle. That's why they killed Plato. That's why they killed these men. These philosophers agreed more with these religious philosophies than what anybody else wants to exist. I think science and religion are the same thing. But I think that's where we are. Let me do the last couple comments. I got to wrap this up. I got food to grow. I got some bitches to dig, because I love doing it. I love doing it. How that song go? Baby, don't let your baby grow up to be cowboys. You know, how a ditch digger is a bad type of living. Oh no. It's bad to you if you don't want to do it. I dug me a ditch the other day because I'm doing the sump for the aquaponic system, and I got my 50-gallon barrel in that ground. You know how good it felt to dig a ditch? I can't tell you why I love to do things I do. It was an accomplishment. I write software, say the corporation millions of dollars, and I was like, yeah, I did good, and it felt good. It was not really, but I got an award. It's right over there. It's called the what do they call that? It's glass, it's crystal, got the little thing. I won't say the name of the company. I might end up getting sued. Got my name on everything. Something award. I don't even remember the name of the award. I didn't care. I saved the millions of dollars. They gave me a piece of glass. But I dug that ditch. Oh, I felt great. Oh, let your baby grow up to be ditch diggers if they want to. I love digging holes, and I can't explain to anybody. This is how I know God is real. Because why would you be happy you dug a ditch? Got mud on my fingernails, viruses all in my mouth, eyes. I'm just digging, shoveling. I'm filthy. And I'm looking at this hole in the ground like, yeah, I dug a hole, man. I feel good. Woo! Look at that hole. It's deep, too. Oh, it's deep. Because you know the barrels ain't small. 50-gallon hole, they ain't small. Oh, I dug the hole, got the barrel. Oh, and the barrel fit right in the hole, too. Man, I'm going to hook this up and grow me some food. I'm doing aquaponics. Oh, this is going to feel good. It felt good just looking at that hole. That's how I know God exists. That's how I know God exists. Some spiritual, powerful, beautiful, because kids is hungry. And they give you this feeling to feel good when you do things that are good. Like the example of the gift giving. You know, how do you know you're supposed to take care of people? Because when you give people gifts, it make you feel good. That's God within you. That's that spirituality. It's releasing endorphins, and it's telling you this is what you're supposed to be doing. It's those things that are evolved in us that teach us how to work together. You know, it makes you feel good when you do good things. So why not just do good things? Like I said, keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple. Don't be stupid. Do good things. If you know it's good, then do it. You know, we started the conversation on free energy. We can end it. Hopefully, we can all end it here, whether you agree with all of the whistleblowers and all the evidence or not, which is governments can't have secrets. It's not, that's the funny part. That's the funny part. We'll put so much energy into debating what's going on and won't put no energy in debating if they can keep the situation that keeps us debating. They wouldn't have any secrets if they didn't have something that was worth keeping secret. Oh. Anyway, yeah, dirt rules. It does, Gene. It said, because all life is in dirt. All life came from the dust of the earth. And that's another scripture right there. That's why when you get in the dirt, it feels good. You're grounded, feels fantastic. Freedom of will and sovereignty. That's it, my letter. Or if I'm saying your name right, my letter, Miletta. When you believe in free will, when you really believe in free will, when you really have faith in God and faith in free will and faith in like real faith, not fake faith, not faith, but real faith, and you are a patriot to your faith, then you don't want to control anybody. You accept the ecosystem for how it is. You just want to do your part in the ecosystem and let your hands back. People who try to go out and get legislation and laws to control you, those people have no faith. They have no faith. They don't have a faith in God. You can list anything you want. You can be Islam, Muslim, Christian, whatever. You have no faith in your God. If you got faith in your God, you will do what's right and accept the chips where they fall. I accept the chips where they fall. I know we won't be a psychopathic species in anarchy. Not if we take care of everybody. Everybody's going to become fantastic. Nature's going to take its way. The spaghetti guy told you, when you follow natural law, natural things happen. When you let things be organic, organic things happen. But when you keep control systems made by men to control people, bad things happen. You create anaerobic areas called psychopaths. They turn on those evolved warrior genes to get people out there to go fight and kill each other over energy and hoard. All right, that's why I really have faith in God. I have a faith in the Garden of Eden. Let's go back to the Garden of Eden. Leave everybody alone. Give them their free energy. Cables and tunnels and shite all over, connecting continents, even beneath the ocean, supposedly. That's why we're connected over here. Brenda's right. Yeah, they do. That's a good, and that's another way to get that energy across the ocean. They do. They got them big mass transatlantic cables. So maybe there's a big cable going on over there to Hawaii too. But they also have solar panels and they also have wind vanes. So it's still the example of a hybrid system. Keep the monkeys under control in one way and kind of freeze in the other way. You would die without the internet. Is that to me, Paul? Would I die without the internet? No, not really. Yesterday, I was doing great. I don't like it. The only reason I come online is because smart people. I got more smart people here than I got in the real world. They're the ones who keep me coming back. Oh no, I am an outdoors person. Give me a tree, a log, some seeds, water, some sunshine, some noise in the background, some birds. I don't need none of the technology. And that's the funny part, is that even if we create these automated grow systems and we feed everybody, I actually wouldn't use it. I wouldn't use it. It's not for me. I'm not trying to create green robots and automated grow systems. And I already wrote the software for the beds. And I had that going. It's not for me. I like growing food. I like being outside. I like being out in the open. The only reason I come here is you got the Bettys and the Jennifers and the Sandys and the Pattys and the Kates and the Paul Bradleys and the Brendas. And you got Jacks and people who tell me stuff that, you know what, that's a good way. I never even thought about that. They keep me coming back to it. It ain't Facebook. It's not Mark Zuckerberg and Google. It's not any of the videos. It's the monkeys. Because God's within all of them and they all got ingenious things to say. And the only way I get to be a part of their genius is I got to come online and try not to offend them. And they might tell me something smart. They might answer my questions. But if I come here to offend them, to control them, then we get the conflict that's going to extinct us all. That's why I come on Facebook. I don't care nothing about the internet. I like the internet because we can free the world with it. I like the internet because it showed us free energy was real. There's no way I know some man in Alabama put some magnets together with some metal and it bends and does this and creates a free energy. There's no way I would know that without YouTube. I don't know nobody in Alabama. I know about one person. I know one person I grew up with living in Alabama. I might know two. That's about it. But I don't know the guy that created free energy. All right. CDC calling COVID a disease and not a virus. Shows you it has not been isolated and identified. Disease is a secondary effect that can be due to anything. Kate, I'm not even sure if I can address that. They might delete the video. They're deleting Buttar's videos and deleting Shiv. I think didn't they throw Buttar completely off? And he and Shiva still got that fight, I guess, is going on with Robert F. Kennedy. I'm not even sure I should address that. I'm doing my best to stay out of Facebook jail. The only thing I tell people about the CDC and WHO is just look them up. You want to know about diseases, just look it up. You want to know about viruses, go talk to Beaufont over there. I think that man knows exactly what viruses are too. And go find yourself a poor virologist, watch the video, and you'll know what viruses are. You want to know about disease, go look up some of these doctors like Dr. Mercola, Dr. McGregor, and the ones who talk about malnutrition and what disease really is, just a classification and a side effect of other things. Other things can start that. That's as far as I think I can go, Kate. I think you go anything farther than that, telling monkeys the truth, they delete your video. So I'm a tread lightly. This is the first phase of the powers. This is the first phase. Powers say. This is the first phase. The powers say. I'm not sure where we're going on that one, Sandra. You might be replying to people. I can't tell. Herd immunity. FTW. What does FTW mean, Paul? Herd. I like herd immunity. Herd immunity is a great conversation, Paul. Personally, I like natural herd immunity. I think the ecosystem immunity is a thing too. I think biological personal immunity is a thing, and I think they all work together. I think they all work together, but I think that certain groups and corporations, for-profit corporations, like to talk about just one level and from a synthetic perspective. I think people do their homework and they realize that they are a part of an ecosystem, that all of this stuff works together for billions of years across biology and water and dry land and air and the woods and the forests and the plains and the dimensions and the universes, the asteroids that come here that brought the minerals. It all works together. And it's all immune in all one big way if you let it be organic. And there are people who want to control that to make money. So that's, I think, the most, Paul, I can say about immunity. All right. I think I hit the comments from most everybody. Did you all see Elon Musk is questioning the cuckoo virus? No, I didn't see that, Kim. Is he? I like Elon Musk. Well, you know, I love everybody. I appreciate Elon Musk. I wish he didn't have satellites every damn place. And I changed my mind on that, Kim Jackson. I like the idea of everybody having internet, but now I realize there are other ways to have internet globally. What is that? Quantum communication, the experiments that they've done with that. The only reason we don't have quantum communication, probably that Invention Security Act got it too. They don't actually have to use radiation to give you internet. But it's interesting. More people are questioning cuckoo virus, Kim Jackson, because I don't know. I think it's hard to keep a monkey down. I think it's hard to keep a monkey down. I think that as much as monkey as we are, we like to put our hand inside and grab that shiny ball in the log, and our hand gets trapped. After a while, we start to really question what reality is. But there's always a good degree of controlled opposition too, so maybe that's part of it. But I at the core of the philosophy of what the medical industry stands for, I'm in disagreement with it at its core. I'm in disagreement with the idea that you need to fight things that are a part of the ecosystem. I think you need to more understand things that are part of the ecosystem. And that's what I think Brother Bo is posting a lot about, is if it's a part of the ecosystem, and it all works together for the good of those who love the Lord. It all works together for the goods of those who love the spaghetti monster too. Who love the ecosystem, then they understand we need to eco in the system more. We need to bring back more organic everything. You know, don't be so passionate about climate change and CO2 if you got the chemical companies spraying your lawn to keep it nice and green. You're killing the ecosystem in your own way. Your yard at least should be a great, massive carbon collecting CO2 soil. And if it's not, because you're spraying the chemicals in the ground from the politicians who got the money that's fighting CO2 climate change, and we got some major contradictions happening. They're doing away with the sea cables. Are they? Okay, Miss Tree. You know why too? No, tell me why. Let me see. No longer necessary. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? There's a lot going on, Miss Tree, and we can talk about. You know, I forgot the name of the general. I'll see if I can find it real quick. There is a lot going on, and America's hand is getting forced, and I think part of the reason why we're having these free energy discussions and there are UFOs flying everywhere, and they're saying, who was the brother? I posted him the other day. His name is Praveen Mohar, I think his name, in India. And I mean, they were always after deleting his videos, and they threatened deleting his channel, but he finally did that last video where he talked about how people all over India are seeing, you know, all types of UFOs now flying over. Once again, you can say it's Space Force, you can say it's aliens, I really don't care. It's flying in the air, but, you know, they targeted him, and now his channel supposedly might get deleted because he's saying things that are a little beyond the ancient archaeology, right? I think our hand is getting forced. I'm gonna link the fact up with his video that they would come for him while he's talking about these free energy flying crafts in the sky, because the general Who is the Space Force general? Let me see if I can get anybody remember his name. He did that talk and said we need to hurry up and do Space Force. He talked about what Sandra mentioned there, that we don't actually, or Miss Tree, we don't need these cables. They can beam energy down from the satellites. What is the name of that general? Do y'all know who I'm talking about? Yeah, Praveen. Yeah, he's deep, Ivan. I love his videos. The Space Force general, the one that said we need to hurry up and do this and hurry up and start using the free energy that doesn't exist. What is his name? The Space Force general. He gave a talk at one of these universities. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna post the link. Oh, brother Paul, you should watch it. You should watch it. I think our hand is being forced by China. No, it's not General Dunford. Let me see if I can find it. He gave a talk at a university. I guess it was about 6 months ago. It was popular here. And we were watching a speech. He basically said, you know, we can beam energy from space. We can make it throughout the galaxy, or not the galaxy. We can make it through the solar system. Talked about technology that should not exist. I think China's forcing our hand. That's what I think. Because that was his excuse. He was at a Space Force general. Is it Raymond? Is this the guy that they set up? He gave a talk at a university. That doesn't look like him. He was a young guy. It was a university speech. Anybody post it? Nope. Anyway, so in his speech, if I can find it, I'll post it. Was this it? Center for Strategic Studies. This might actually been it. I thought it was a young guy. Maybe that's it. Where he just basically explained all the technology that we just talked about basically here that doesn't exist, that it exists. We need to hurry up and do it, and we need to beat China doing it, which is why I think the whole China bot thing's coming. We're all about to be China bots. I think that China is catching up, and it's scaring the people who are keeping us behind. And I think that's where I came. No, it wasn't Clark. I don't know if it was Clark. But everything is, once again, it's all economics. It's all power, it's control, it's energy, it's money, it's force. But he gave this talk at a university. That might be it on the top. Maybe it's John Raymond. It was about an hour talk where he explained we need to hurry up and rush Space Force. And he basically said that all the stuff that Tesla did that we actually have. And he showed his hand. So it's not like even a debate, like you don't really even have to go to the Invention Security Act. You don't really have to go to Nikola Tesla. You don't have to go to the whistleblower. It's when China is stepping outside of, I guess, the control of the global cult or whatever's going on, that we start to reveal technology. And his speech explaining, you know, how free energy existed and beaming energy from space and all of that stuff, it was because China forced our hand, the same way we were forced to show the stealth fighter. They were never going to show us a stealth fighter. You know, people seeing UFOs and Roswell. Yeah, I think there were some real UFOs and the stuff that Bob Lazar talked about. But then there also was the skunk works. We had those, well, the Blackbird was one of them. My uncle worked on the Blackbird. That's why people say I'm CIA. He's CIA! No, I had an uncle who literally died of cancer, and it's probably because he worked on that damn Blackbird over there in Okinawa. SR-71. But people saw it and they thought it was a UFO because we, at the time, we didn't know that airplanes look like that, could fly that fast and were that color. But the only reason they showed us, yes, what the U-2 is because someone shot it down, Russia, right? SR-71 because we had something better, and a stealth fighter because we needed to use it, and a stealth bomber in the Gulf War. That's the only reason they told us about it. They literally tell us 2 seconds before the enemy finds out about it. That should tell you where you are in the order of events for you patriots out there. Because they tell you only when they have to. And the only reason I think the UFOs are on television and is probably that Project Bluebeam and because of that talk the general gave. Nobody posted it. All right, well, I think it was this. I think it was this guy right here. It kind of looks like everyone.
I'm privileged to lead in U.S. Space Command. I couldn't be more proud of.
No, that's not it. That's not it. I'll try to see if I can find it. It's way back in post, which is why these social media platforms, they don't do well for discussion. They don't do well for timeline. I hate this timeline thing because you post something and you have a great discussion around it and you want to refer back to it and you can't because it's like in last year's archives. And so I don't like this. I'm working on something else. Anyway, I'm gonna do the last couple comments and I'm gonna go. But yeah, they revealed it all to you because China is up and doing it. And that's why Space Force is a thing. It has nothing to do with Trump trying to save us. It has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that they bought that a long time ago. They bought the Space Force. They've been up there since Reagan and beyond. You know, I sat right there, had a congressman look at my face and say, "Oh yeah, no, we've been all over the galaxy." He said we built, and his wife, she was a congresswoman, and she agreed right with him. Said, "Yeah, we didn't. I say it the way he said it to me. I hopefully I'm not getting nobody in trouble." He's like, "Oh, we built our first starship in the 1980s." And I was like, I didn't like blink, and I guess he thought that he was telling me something that I didn't already speculatively think. And he said, "No," I said, "We built our first starship." And I was kind of like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. You're kind of agreeing with the whole Reagan Space Force, but I mean, $17 billion going missing, 9/11 the day after. Yeah, that kind of feeds right within it. You know, I know that we've been doing stuff we just only releasing now. I lucked up and saw a few things that my father worked on, and I don't think they were classified at the time because he worked for a private company. And that's how you get a little bit of your insight, by the way. If you know anybody who works for the Lockheed Martins, the Grummans, the rest of them, I think they're better at it now. I think they probably classify the project when they farm it out if DARPA can't steal the technology from the patent office. But you can start to get insights as to what they have. But yeah, we've had this stuff for a long time. We've had it for a long time. All right, get out of here. We use our free will to enslave us. Yes, we do. Yes, sir. We used to sing it with power and had no idea what we were singing about. Yeah, my letter. Yes, we were. Who was that? In Vogue? Wisdom is the only true God. That's the only true God, Paul. Wisdom and truth. Absolutely. Which is why, to me, it all goes together. Whether it's science or spirituality, it's the same thing. You're just seeking truth. You just have people in science who are honestly seeking the truth, and those who are doing it for a paycheck or a corporation or an industry, and people in religion who want to know what's true, and those who don't really have any faith who don't want to know what's true. They just want to go along, and they like the chicken bakes and the music and the gospel. Right, so there are people who are really seeking truth and people who are just seeking more control. And I think the people who are seeking truth are the ones who are kind of syncing up and realizing that this is all one big power play. All right, I'm trying to see if there's any last comments down here that I missed. I'm always way back in comments. Oh, y'all talking about some donuts, huh? Somebody hungry? If you eat donuts, you don't get to complain about the cuckoo virus, people. Have you seen the interview with Elon Musk and Joe Rogan? It's very interesting. The way Elon's brain works. Yeah, I do, my letter. And that was the one that made me think, that was a great interview, by the way. It made me think that they got to Elon. I think Elon was really trying to free things. I think he was really trying, he was a technologist. We just love technology. But when you get far enough in that technology, you capitulate to the system, or they drug you or something. Elon Musk, and the way his brain works, either he is one of these savant type people I used to meet that my father used to bring home from the Pentagon at Thanksgiving, or they jacked him up. They gave him some Bob Marley brain cancer, foot cancer. They didn't kill him, but it just made him go way off the deep end. I think he could have done a lot of good, but once again, nothing gets to become popular without being corrupted. Everything's controlled opposition. The slave master is not going to let any slaves on the plantation, no matter how many billions they put together, actually fight the system. You suppose the same conversations go on in Russia and North Korea? I know they do, Gene. I know they do. In fact, they're probably more prolific there than they are here. I think in Russia, more people probably get it. I'll guarantee you more people in North Korea get it. The worse off you are, the more oppressed you are, the more people are seeking what's true. The more you're liking Elysium and you have like an apathetic, cushy lifestyle, the less you focus or even care about it. So I'd almost guarantee you, and I would bet you, that there's more of that conversation. And plus you got the people in Russia. You still got a big sustainable community in Russia, like all up in the cold areas. Where is that? Where they found the big, massive megaliths that massive giant stones that looked like they were buildings from millions of years ago. way out, far beyond civilization. Smart people, I find, are people who can take care of themselves. Smart people tend to be more, or not smart, wrong word. I think it's intelligent, critical thinking, tend to be people who take care of themselves. They're not really dependent on government and their information and their water and internet, but they live sustainably off grid way out in Russia. So I would bet you, like Latin America. Control wants more control for the sake of controlling. That's all it is, Paul. It's like if you have a system that's based in power or control, a corporation or a government, it's always going to seek maximum control. And maximum control always comes from controlling information. All right, let me get down. We're almost done. SARS-CoV-2. Okay, both fine. I got that. I'm scared. I'm not sure what I can say on that. They delete your video. They're deleting doctors' videos now, so there's that. So we can end this whole talk, discussion, idea that any of this has anything to do with science. It has to do with control. And shovel turning ground over also. Hauled wood yesterday ago. Backbreaking for me. Me too, Sandy, but it's always this way this time of year. It's, this time of year you're ripping muscles, well here anyway, because we're coming up to Mother's Day, May Day, and planting time, where you're just starting to rip through the muscles and feeling them pains, but getting rid of that Thanksgiving, that Christmas cushioning. So yeah, that's where I am. They want to militarize space, Paul. Paul, according to the conversation with that general and what Reagan said back in space, they've already militarized space. They're just letting us know about it. It's like the stealth fighter. They probably did it decades ago, and they're now just revealing to us what they've been doing. And a good whistleblower on that, what was the guy's name? Guy in the UK that they went after before they went after Julian Assange. He got away with it. He hacked Gary McKinnon, I believe his name, Gary McKinnon. Did I say it right? He hacked into the Pentagon computers. He got into a NASA computer. He saw things that he wasn't even looking for. Like he saw pictures from the moon with structures on them, the ones that Donna Hare explained existed, and her department, how they Photoshop out the structures that are on the moon, that some look ancient and some look new. And then he ran into a space manifest, which said it listed all the like the officers, like, what was it called? Off-world officers was the list, and it listed all of these Americans who were off-world officers. And so to me, the way my mind works, Paul, when the Caesars today start admitting up to what was happening 20, 30 years ago from these people like Paul McKinnon, then it gives them immense credibility. It gives the Bob Lazars immense credibility. It gives the Stephen Greers immense credibility. And that's when people need to start paying more attention to what people said 20 and 30 years ago about what they're telling you they're just going to start doing now. That's how this has always worked. They tell us 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road what they were always up to. Sometimes they don't never tell us, like JFK. So anyway, that's the real world. The real world is a scary place. Not everybody wants to embrace it. We're born, and wherever we're born, we delve into that birth patriotism, right? That birth identity that says that this is who we are and this is who owns us. And I believe in free will. I don't think anybody owns you. I don't think the Caesars, because they killed people and put borders around where you were born, they own anything. I don't think you own them patronage. I don't think you own them patriotism. I think you can be a patriot to liberty and freedom and free will and freeing the human race. But we have to have honest conversations about what reality is more likely than what's on television. And that's really all I try to do. I don't know the truth. They don't tell me the truth. I'm not on the truth email. All I can do is look at history. I can look at scripture. I can look at science. I can look at what they're doing now on this scale. I can look at bacteria in the stream and try to put together in my mind and try to make it some sense that, okay, then that's what a white hole and a black hole is. As above, so below, and it actually makes sense. We can't always know what's true, but we can certainly extrapolate what can't be true. And that should pave the world that we should be going towards. And right now, it paints a beautiful picture. It paints a beautiful picture that we have the ability to end all violence, aggression, war. World peace is all about us just walking away. That's all it is. It's about us just walking away. But also it has a lot to do with humility and admit that we don't really ever know as much as we were raised to pretend that we know. All right, it's Gerard. I got to get going. I got ground to turn. I got fungi to grow, and I got to go play with my worms. And yes, there was an S on the end of that. My worms came yesterday. Red wigglers. I gotta build some bins. I like vermiculture. I got a whole lot of compost I gotta make because I got a big old field. I gotta get my compost tea going. So I got all my worms came yesterday. So I'll be playing with my worms today. Oh, look at that. I see my label. This is one of the corporations I work for. We used to change the acronyms all the time. I don't even remember what it stands for. SC. The last S is systems. They just kept changing the name every few years. Oh, goodness gracious. Anyway, that's been, this is Caesar's label. This is when I worked for Julius Caesar instead of the human race. I believe it was a good idea to create technology and software and give it to the Caesars instead of creating technology and software and giving it to the people. I didn't believe in children back then. I kind of thought that they was just little things that was born that had boogers and diapers. And by default, I don't know, we did a few things to take care of them. Now I have a very different philosophy. I'm a patriot to the future. I'm a patriot to the human race. I'm a patriot to freedom and liberty. And I'm not interested in gang rape democracy. I'm not interested in mob rule. I'm interested in sovereignty and anarchy. And the only way we get there successfully is we accept the things that we can do. Oh, Lord, here come Beaufort. G got worms. Time to make him... now time to make him the vet. Yeah, well, there's no vet for worms, Beaufort. These are red wigglers, brother. These things ain't here to play with you. These things eat everything. They eat newspaper, they eat paper towels, they eat tissue with cuckoo virus on it, they eat your refuse, they eat everything, but like there's a few things you don't want to feed them, like onions, highly acidic things like citrus, but they eat everything. And in like 3 months, a little bucket of them turns it all into compost. So it's a great way. And the good thing is you can keep it in your kitchen and it doesn't smell like garbage. So what do you think about that? Do you want to free the people? You can free the people. You just got to go online, get yourself some red wigglers, start composting, and stop complaining about climate change. Start building your soil so it can collect the carbon. Free the people and they become beautiful, free things. Free Mother Nature, free yourself, free your neighbors, free the kids. We don't need to control people trying to steal them more. Anyway, this is Gerard. I gotta go. Y'all have a great day. Love y'all to death. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Do you want to free?